Okay, so in order to use a table, you want to pick x and y, or x values, and then solve for y. So you're going to make your table. I'm going to pick -1, 0, and 1 as my x values, and I'm going to plug these in for x, and then I will find what my y value is, and then I can put the points on the graph. So 3 times -1, because I'm plugging in -1 for x, minus y equals -1. Okay, I'm starting with this first equation here. And then -1 times 3 is -3. Bring this down. And then solve your two-step equation. So you're going to add a +3. And then you get -y equals 2. Remember, this negative sign's like a -1, so divide by -1. And you get y equals -2. So that's my first point that will go on my graph. All right, then I'm going to plug in 0. Same equation, okay, same one as this first one here, but instead of a -1, this time I'm using 0. So 3 times 0 minus y equals -1. 3 times 0 is 0, minus y equals -1. Solve. 0 is nothing, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And remember, this is like a -1, so divide by -1, and you get y equals 1. So that's my second point. And then my last point, I'm plugging in a 1 for x. So I've got 3 times 1 this time, minus y equals -1. 3 times 1 is 3, minus y equals -1. Solve your two-step, add -3. So you get -y equals -4. Remember, this is like a -1, so divide by -1. And you'll get y equals 4. Okay, so that's going to go right here. So there I have now 3 points. So I can graph them. So, you have your little graph. If you don't have graph paper, it's not a big deal. You can just make your own like this. This is just kind of like a quick refresher for you. All right, so my first point, -1, -2. So -1, -2. And then 0, 1, so 0, 1, and then 1, 4, so 1 for the x, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's my first line. Now, of course, to find a solution to where these two lines cross, I'm going to have to now graph this one, okay, the same way.